record on this computer. Okay. Now I have to screen share again. All right. So I'm going to take just a few minutes and give you all an introduction on research analyzing and what we're going to do and the types of research. It all makes a difference in how you go about it because it can be pretty overwhelming if you don't know where to start. And I certainly want you to know where to start when you're analyzing data. Otherwise, it's no good to us. So then we will take, after about 15 minutes, we'll go into the reviewing our current data that we've captured. And Rebecca, you've been doing a lot of it. Thank you so much. I know you and Paula both have been doing the research, and we can gather some information from the information we already had, as well as what y'all have captured. And we can decide on whether to move forward with it or to capture more data if we want to continue, and how we want to do that. Okay. And then 6:45, we will stop a little bit and then just ask questions and figure out our next steps. So I just wanted to let you know what to expect, and I hope to wrap up by 7. And that way we can get on with our evenings and get your brains going. Okay. So first of all, I wanted to know if you guys knew the difference between qualitative and quantitative data.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, can you tell me about it?
sure, I can. So quantitative is involving numbers, measurements, and qualitative, it's more like based on interviews and like things you observe and that kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. Paula, do you want to add to that?
Qualitative can also be, can include categorical.
Okay.
It's categories and not necessarily just numbers. You would use the same procedures for categorical you would for qualitative.
Okay. So
And qualitative has to do with emotions and motivations and behaviors and things that they say, things that they do, things like that.
right. And qualitative does the qualitative helps with the why, your understanding of why.
Yeah.
The quantitative is more of the what or how many's. You know, it can say this many people went to this page, but what are they looking for? Don't know. We have to have qualitative data to tell us that, right? So we can either get that from a survey by saying, what are you looking for? Or we can ask people, what are you looking for and what is important and why is it important and that sort of thing. So just kind of give you an idea. And there are some methods that are mixed. And I am a mixed methods researcher. I like to do both. I think the purpose for research is to get the full picture. I think the qualitative only tells one side, the quantitative says one side, and I think mixing those together, we can get a better image of what's going on, you know, better picture. So I am a real advocate for mixed methods research. And one of the richest methods is the interview, and that's why it's the most used, because you can get qualitative and quantitative, and you can slice and dice the data so much from that. So it's really important that we understand the difference between those and what we're going to. So we're going to go at this as a mixed methods approach, okay? So I'm not sure, still sharing my screen. Y'all see the website page?
Yeah.
Okay, so I pulled up Nielsen Norman, and I can send you this link. This is the how to analyze qualitative data from UX research, and this is thematic analysis. And this is kind of what we're going to be doing. You can come at it as qualitative first and then go through with the numbers if you want, or and that sort of thing. So we just kind of break it down a little bit. But I did want you to kind of read through the qualitative data, like the challenges that you have with it. It's just so much. And then if you don't you may miss some things if you don't dive in. And this also takes some time. It takes, I have had a lot of requests from people saying, I want you to interview these people and then give me your analysis like the next day. No, that takes a long time. And I tell them, I need a day to digest everything that I've heard and to filter out. And I also tried to get transcripts of what was said. And I don't know if you've ever done this before, but I have done interviews and recorded them, gotten the transcript, and I don't even remember saying the things that I said. And it's like watching a movie and you miss those parts, or you miss something that they mentioned while I was thinking about something else, So it's really important that you don't trust your own memory. Never, ever trust your own memory in the analysis. You want to make sure it's documented. And, we did this kind of, just documenting as notes as we go. And that's as close as we can get to recording for each individual of those interviews. But that's fine. You'll get the idea. And so, but whenever you're, being paid for this for a client, you want to make sure that the research is backed up by, the written word somewhere, the transcription somewhere. If you can get transcripts, that's great. There's lots of services online that does that. But it's super important to have that transcript, because then you can go through and code it and go back 2 days later and say, I know that I heard Paula say something about this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can find it in context, and then be able to pull it out and use those exact words in a quote. Okay, so that's why it's really, really important to make sure you tie it back. Any data that you're pulling, tie it back to where you got it. And you don't want it to be your assumption of what Paula said. I'm not going to paraphrase for Paula. I'm going to put down her exact words. Okay, make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to send you this link, and I'll put it in the chat. I don't know if I can put it in the chat while yeah, I can. Put it in the chat. That way we can capture it. So y'all can just look over the qualitative analysis, and this goes through the different methods that you can use, and that is tools and methods for conducting thematic analysis. And it says using software. Software is fine if your data is very, very strict and very defined. But just to give you an example, so someone's talking and they said, I had a drink, and I wanted a drink and I asked for a Coke. And the other person says, I wanted a beverage and I asked for a Sprite. Do you see the differences in those? They said drink and beverage. They mean the same thing, but how are we going to clean that data up? Are we going to go with the word beverage and change drink to beverage? Or are we going to change beverage to drink? You know what I mean? So you have to start getting really semantic when you get down into the data. And unless your data is super, super strict that way, and they can only answer one way, or you have cleaned up the data so that it's just showing one way, then software is really scary for me, because I think you need that human interpretation, of what they meant. So you could do that, but you definitely want to keep the original data. You want to say, this person said beverage, this person said drink, but now here's the coded, or here is the interpreted meaning of that, right? So you can always go back to that. Never get rid of the original data. So then there's like journaling. I've never done that. And the codes and coding is what I do. And this is why I was showing this to you. This is more of a breakdown in detail. And there's gathering the data, read all the data from beginning to end. That's like reading through all of your transcripts. And you can do that as a team. And there's a video at the bottom here that shows an example of like you read through the transcript of somebody and you make some notes of some things that are sticking out. Like, oh, that's really interesting, you know, and just marking them, putting some notes on it. And then I'll pass it over to Paula and she'll read through it and she may pick out something different than I did, but we're trying to, you know, just surface some information that's good. So, and go after the things that we're looking for. And then we want to code the text based on what it's about. And that's like you were saying, categorical, you put categories to it. You, these are the you know, the liquids that they talked about. It's a beverage, a drink, or whatever. Okay, so they want the liquids, you know, and then they want food and they want this or that. So you can categorize it that way. And then you have to kind of make a run through. Don't be afraid to go back and run through it a couple of times. You want to comb through it and make sure you got everything and that you're very, very thorough. Okay, because otherwise, what's the point? So you want to just evaluate all of them and get them all in themes. So I'll close that. And let's see. Oh, there we go. That's what we want. Okay, so I see here that we have some answers, some answered, and see Susan put a big pink on it. Paula, you put a brown or a tan or yellow or whatever highlight. And then Rebecca has, there's a pink and kind of a purpley and a pink, and I don't know if you're seeing these. And then there's a purple and a pink. Paula, are these meaning the ones that you have completed?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see how these are a little bit different. Just the ones, these are complete. They're not even, they're really close, but they're not exact. So I cannot filter by that, right? So what do we want the colors to be for the completed ones?
Pink.
This pink?
Sure.
Okay. So what we need to do is find all the ones that are not pink and change them to pink. And this one's done too. Make sense why I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get it all apples to apples. All that stuff. Good there. All right, so we'll change this to the, I guess it was this pink. Oh. Who's that pink? Okay. All right, so then we will just do that. And now you see why it takes time. Because you have to homogenize all the data. It's just, you know, there's no way you can work with it until it's clean. And that takes a lot of time. Okay, so. And then we'll change this to the pink. Yeah. Oh. Let's see, that one is a little purple. Pink. All right, so I think we're good. We got, y'all see those, but we'll just change those as we go. So now we have all pink. So now we can say, just show me the ones that are in this bright pink. I believe it's that one. Okay, So now we have our data isolated that has been just the interviews, okay? So now we can go in and say, what are we wanting to learn? So we're saying, what are you interested in learning from this group? And I'm assuming that you'll ask this question to them, and we're not just going by the survey answer, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that's an assumption. And I'm going to assume this, and I can state that somewhere if this is going to be a report out to somewhere else. We can put assumption is, this is interview questions that were asked in person. The others are surveys. They're going to be in that same column, but the ones that were interviews were taught. So just make sure you delineate that, because there's some really short answers on the surveys and longer answers on the interviews. Just to delineate this. Okay. So we've got this one from Susan, said, I'm interested in engaging in conversations, learning from other people in the industry to go. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
I can't read it.
Okay. Oh, I'm trying. Is it better?
No,
No.
no.
So,
The display only covers the center horizontal third.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Okay. But you're looking at it from the document side. So we are on E25 cell, okay? Says, I'm interested in engaging in conversations and learning from other people in our industry to grow my UX skills further. I am also interested in having a mentor to share experiences, thought processes, inspirations, even gain some constructive criticism. Okay. So what items stand out to you in this statement that they're wanting to learn from this group? What are the two? I see two main ideas. Any thoughts?
I'm catching up.
Okay. Actually made more than two.
Conversation, learning, and a mentor.
Yeah. Well, I see grow my UX skills. That could cover learning in that, and engaging conversations could grow her UX skills. Like you said, having a mentor. So I'm going to bold those. So now I have grow my skills further, having a mentor. But it's in context, and we're leaving it just like that. So, so this person wants to transition into the career in UX. So they're wanting to just transition, right? So I'm going to put transition in there and see if that comes out. And maybe this transition may later fold up into UX, further UX skills, right? So if y'all want to go ahead and do that with the rest of these that are pink, you can do it to your own or each other's, and just take a few minutes and, 3 to 5 minutes or so, and just get as far as you can and see if you want to do that. Are y'all both logged into the?
Yeah.
Okay. So just take a few minutes and do that. So we're just going one column at a time.
Yep. I'll start from the bottom.
Okay. This is small. Okay, you're about done?
Mhm.
We're supposed to just,
Highlighting your first, we're taking the first round, just highlighting our,
first
what jumps
round,
out. Huh?
first round, what is that?
That just means we're looking over it and see what jumps out first. What's our main theme that we're seeing? And that's
Oh.
by looking at the theme of what's being said in that cell. And now we're going to look at it together and pull out.
In a column, in a row,
Yeah.
the ones
So,
we did, one
yeah,
column?
just the column, just the column in that. Okay, so we're just going to put this here.
Column E?
Yeah, in column E, I just added column F
okay.
for us to be able to put a category to it. Okay.
All right.
So, so at the top, we've got grow UX skills, got transition with learning, bridging the gap, building network, refresh knowledge, research and testing, more about. I'm going to make an assumption of learning. So there. And if you put anything in that you are just making an assumption about, put it in brackets so that you know that that's the word you added, or better clarify or categorize. So and you've got experience. They're wanting tips and experience from more senior UX designers and researchers. So what I am seeing from these is people are interested in learning. I'm seeing a theme of learning. Don't you?
Yep.
I don't mean to tip the scales, but I'm just saying this is the theme that I'm seeing. So I can put learning, and I can put and that, would the mentor fall under learning, do you think, or do you want that to be something else? We can make that a different thing.
I think it's a different thing.
Think it's different? Okay. Mentor. Okay. And then the transition. I'm not sure what that would mean. Could we put that in learning or mentor, or do we need another? We can skip it and come back.
Can come back.
Maybe read more of this and see if we can get it a better context. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just keep going down. So building the network, networking, learning and networking. Bridge the gap, same thing as transition. I don't know that I can assign it yet anything yet. It's kind of a gray area there. And then everything, refresh knowledge. I think that's in the learning. What's new, what's common, is fundamental. Everything. Go ahead and, if y'all don't agree with something, please just say something. This is collaborative. Creating experiences. I'm not sure what that means. Again, that's you can read through and get some context. And then learning more about research, that's learning. And then learning, we can further break down later. We can break down research and testing out of learning, right? As a category, and then subset category of learning. Then we've got experience, tips and experience of more senior designers and researchers. Do you think that that's
I would put
learning?
that in
Learning.
wisdom.
What's that?
Well, there's different kinds of learning, like you said. There's technical and methods, and then there's just wisdom.
Right. So is this
So,
more of a
I guess-
mentoring?
What?
Is this leaning to more towards mentoring than learning?
I guess.
Could be. Maybe they just want someone to tell them, like in a presentation, what their experiences are as well.
Yeah, but if they're looking for more senior people, that tells me they're trying to learn from them, but as a mentor, you know, or mentorship or something. I mean, that could be a possibility that they're interested in the mentorship. They just didn't know what to call it or something.
Maybe.
We can do either.
Yeah.
Either or both.
Yep.
And then I'll just put learning here. I don't know what to put these as. This is kind of like all UX. I don't know what else. I mean, Paula, would you say Kathy and Keith they just want to know everything UX? We say they're learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Imposter syndrome. I don't know where that would fall. And come back. Keep in touch. This is more of a UX professionals and students.
Networking.
So networking, yeah. Learning. Learning. Okay. So now we have all of these. And now we can say, see how many of these have learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 have learning in it. So now we're putting a qualitative to it, right? To the quantitative. So we've got 11 who are interested in learning. See how we just did that? We've got networking and mentoring. So, and I've had some people would copy this, like the girl I work with now, she copies this and puts another line and puts one for learning and one for mentoring. So just depends on how you want to do it. But we're not done with our categorization, you know, so we'll just keep going through and we can clean up and add, fill in the blanks as we go. So then we would do that the same way here. We can say, oh, have you attended meetings? I don't know if we want to go into that yet, but how did you hear about the group? This helps us with our marketing, right?
Mhm.
So this will tell us which way works best. We've got Meetup, LinkedIn, you know, private group. I don't know if that's Meetup. I don't know. The Flatiron School, Flatiron, Susan, private group, LinkedIn, Meetup. So we could see, we can put a number to, you know, like LinkedIn may be our biggest draw, you know, or Meetup. And that tells, you know, tells us where to focus our efforts, right? So we could go through and do the same thing to that one. And then where you are in your career, this is kind of like what kind of information should we be teaching and learning, and where are they in the stage of UX, right? They're very, very early in their career. If we have mostly people who are early in their career, we know it's a little bit different. We need some beginners and introduction courses. If it's, intermediate, then we can do some more advanced ones to try to step them up a little. And then if they're advanced, then maybe they're a good, person for being a mentor. So all of these answers mean something, even if we don't know exactly what they are yet, we understand what we're asking for that career while we're asking that question, and the different things we can take from it. So then here is where we really wanted to get to dive into the inclusion and diversity and what it means. So this is something that would be interesting, because we're trying to figure out how we can make sure we're being inclusive and diverse. And so we wanted to find out what that means to them, because we don't want to be talking about something that we think is inclusive and diverse, but they don't. So we want to make sure we're all on the same track. So this, we can analyze this column that way and put that in there. And I know it gets a little bit more complicated the more you have to do in there, but then you can skip it if it's like, okay, it's too hard, I'm getting too deep in the weeds, skip it and come back. And this is why you need to make a couple of passes. And this is why it's so time consuming, because you can do this and just dig in the data all day long. And I've done it all the time, but I love it. I absolutely love it, because it just, it's like churning and turning and twisting and seeing, but we're making some assumptions. We're making some gathering some ideas. And there's some things that may surprise us. I didn't know that learning was going to be the number one thing, on the other thing. And then we have membership and networking is, so there's the top 3 themes that we're finding. And so learning, we've got to do some courses, so it tells me the kind of content that we need to put together is teaching. So, Adrian. Oh, Adrian's asking if we're meeting tonight.
I'll let her know.
Okay. So I wanted to just kind of go through these and talk about these, and we're, it's just the 3 of us. So, so how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel intimidated? Is it overwhelming, or are you like, oh, I got this? It's not that, it's easier than I thought. It just takes a lot of time. What are your thoughts?
I'm okay with it. Seems time consuming, but it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did a project like this before, and it was very, very time consuming, but very satisfying as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of a weird, nerdy, compulsive satisfaction.
Yeah. If you get to nerd out on the data, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm swimming in the data. Y'all just leave me alone. I'm swimming in the data.
Yeah.
So,
and I like the surprises.
Yeah.
I like it when I get surprised.
So, and the thing is we don't want to come in with assumptions. We let the data tell us where it's leaning. You don't want to, we're not changing the data. You see that I added another category, so that we could put a category to it. I didn't change any of the original data, but, I had some examples of some other information that we're pulling out, and we can say, I'm seeing a theme of this, and this is not what we expected, and this really needs to be addressed. We need to really point this out, and you're not going to see it until you're diving in here. And, I don't know of any software that can do what the human mind can with this, analysis, right? They can do the AI all they want, but I don't think they're going to be able to to do this with, you know, with as much nuance as what's needed. So, but I wanted to give y'all some time to, if y'all had any questions. If you don't have any questions, then I want to give you time to dig in here and make changes as you need to, make notes, put comments. This is a collaborative spot, and I just narrowed it down to these that we have done interviews with. We can then do just the ones that were survey findings, right? And then we can merge them together so that we can get a full picture of quantitative, qualitative, where we need to go. And I know it's going to take us, you know, a couple of days or weeks or whatever to pull all of this together, but I wanted to give y'all time to play in the data and see what you come out with. So if y'all want to do that, feel free. Do you have any questions, or if you get stuck, I'm always on Slack, so just holler at me. Just holler at me and say, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do with this, or I'm not sure. Leave it blank, we'll go back to it. You can put a note, a comment in there and tag me in it, however you want to do it. Okay.
So
And
we'll be coming back to this later.
Yeah, I'd like for us to have kind of a, you know, we can just work through it and see. I don't want this to take forever, but I think this can, it really needs to be done correctly, and we need to take our time with it so that we can know. I know we're pushing out to next year, but I'd like to get it done by the end of January so that we can, you know, have a full list of this. You know, our outputs on this are, these are the type of people that we have. These are our users, our consumers, our guests, you know, our customers. Our customers are new, transitioning from other careers. They are, you know, I don't care about age, I don't care about ethnicity and all that. I'm worried about what they're wanting to do. What is their job to be done when they come to the meeting? What do they want to know? And this has a lot of rich information in it that I think can help us. And there's some that may be, you know, like, oh, that's a fun idea. You know, it gives us some ideas of what we can do some classes on. But we need to know, if everybody wants to know more about, you know, job seeking, then we need to make sure we give that to them. If they're wanting to know more about, as I said, we would need to kind of focus on soft skills. And so we've decided now we're going to incorporate that soft skill into every meeting. We're going to talk about a soft skill at the end of every meeting. So that way it's incorporated, but we can also be teaching them, you know, certain specific skills like research, and doing classes. And we can see if they want, if we think that this is better served as, you know, classes and videos, then we can do that. On top of, you know, having guest speakers and things. We certainly want guest speakers, and we want to be able to give them something to attend in a live setting. But if we can teach courses and promote those on our YouTube channel, that would be good too. So,
okay.
And that's the thing, is like, you know, the meetings that we have are one night, once a month. And sometimes it's just really hard to get to them. I understand. And so, but I still want to learn about, you know, this thing or whatever. So,
So you meet in 1 week or 2 weeks?
what do y'all think?
I'm thinking I'd like to if we just touch base once a week at 6 o'clock for 15 minutes, we can express our doubts or our questions, and then it'll help us go forward with more clarity, and we'll wrap up more quickly, actually, if we do that.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to do Monday nights or Wednesday nights? Because Tuesday nights are our marketing, and we just took over that meeting for tonight.
Okay.
But
Can we do Monday? Does that work for you, Rebecca?
Yeah, that works.
okay.
Mondays
So
at 6.
Monday nights at 6 o'clock. Okay, I'll set up a recurring meeting then, for the next 3-4 weeks
Mhm.
and send that out for just, you said, I'll say 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
sounds
So,
good.
all right.
Thanks, Sherry. I'm excited about this and
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
looking forward to seeing what it tells us.
Yeah. So Adrian's just hiding in the background. I'm stopped recording. You can come out now.
Hi, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening. Well, we just kind of took over this meeting. Let's see a pause.